Welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio, and every week we bring you news and information you can use. But this week we are on location down at the Bridal Extravaganza going on at the George R. Brown Convention Center. And this segment, I've got a wedding planner on here to talk to me, because we're not going to be talking about planning your wedding, but we're going to talk about some of the historic venues where you can have your wedding. So I brought Liz Conlin on. Welcome to the show, Liz.
Thank you.
So Liz has A&E Wedding and Events, and so you help people when they're planning the event, planning the wedding. You help them through all of that process, and picking the venue is part of that process, right?
Yes, it is. It's a very important part to make sure that the brides find just the perfect venue that matches their personality and what her and the groom want for their memories.
So there are some historic places around Houston, around the Houston area. I know 3 in particular that you wanted to talk about today were in Montgomery County, and 2 of them are houses, historic houses.
Yes.
And one of them is a winery. So let's start with the winery, because that sounds like if I was going to get married again, which I feel like I've been married forever and it's been great, but I don't ever want to have to plan a wedding again. You do it every day.
Yes.
A winery sounds like a pretty cool place to have it.
Yes, it is. And this is the Barnhart Winery that's just outside of Montgomery, in the Plantersville area. Beautiful hilly countryside with beautiful pecan trees.
So you can do outdoor photographs.
Yes, and that is really what their specialty is doing these outside weddings under these beautiful old pecan trees. And it really makes a beautiful, especially sunset time wedding. They do have the ability to do weddings on the inside, also a small intimate wedding, but preferably the brides, when they get there and they see how beautiful this countryside, it really is very special.
So do they how do they do weddings nowadays? Do they still put them in little, like on a gazebo, or it's just a big open air wedding? How do you, under tents? What's the best way to do that?
Well, the beautiful thing about weddings today is a bride and groom can customize them to their personal taste. And at the winery, they have this beautiful old pecan tree, and they have a wooden deck underneath it with the wrought iron furniture, and it's just a very intimate, relaxing time.
And tell us the name of it again.
It is the Barnhart Winery in Plantersville.
Okay, so let's say somebody living in the Woodlands. How long is it going to take to get there? 30 minutes?
Probably closer to 45, because they're going to go on the west side of Montgomery. So
you said an evening wedding's probably the best, where you've got that sunset in the background.
It's beautiful.
What time of year is best, or is there, because I know a lot of weddings take place during the summer.
Yes, they do.
Is that a place where you want to get married in the fall?
Fall is a very popular time, because you still have all the foliage and so forth on the trees, and everything is still blooming, and it's not so hot. Springtime is pretty too, when you have a lot of the new blooms, but again, fall is a particularly special time for a wedding.
Let's talk about some of the historic homes. I'll just let you take over. You tell us about one of them and why it's so special and near and dear to your heart.
Well, there are 2 older homes in Montgomery that really just, when you walk into them, you feel like you're going back in time. And one of them is called the Hodgepodge Lodge. And about a year and a half ago, this lady bought it, and she remodeled the home, but she has maintained the historical integrity of the home, and she has done an excellent job.
Is this a Victorian style home?
I know it is not Victorian. I would say it's more of a traditional.
Okay.
And she can do small, intimate weddings on the inside, but then she can do a larger wedding on the outside. She has a circular brick patio that she has had built in. Just very, very special. She's taken each of the rooms in the home and has decorated them in memory of her family members, which is very special.
And then the other home that you mentioned, you said it's in Montgomery.
It is also. It was built. It's called the Vintage Tea Garden, and primarily the weddings are done outside. And because it has the heirloom garden, it's one of those homes that when you walk into it, that you feel like that. you're walking into your grandmother's garden or into her house. And this house was built in 1924, originally on 112 acres. And it is just very, very pretty. When you walk into the home, you still have that feel on the floors that, like, when you went to your grandmother's house, and it just had a little feel to it that wasn't, you can't really describe, but very special. Antique dishes are used in the tea room. They do beautiful events inside, but they have to stay pretty small. But that heirloom garden on the outside is just priceless.
Is it a rose garden? I mean, what's in the garden?
The heirloom roses,
Okay.
The perennials that you see, lilies and that kind of thing.
That sounds beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And I'm assuming they do other events besides weddings
Yes,
as
they
well.
do. Wedding anniversaries, bridal showers, birthday parties. I mean, both of these places can rehearsal dinners. They're very popular.
Yeah.
At the Hodgepodge, they do have the rooms available if people want to stay. The wedding party, if there's a couple people that need to stay there.
Oh, and spend the night.
Yes.
What would you say to someone if they told you, hey, Liz, I really want to have my wedding in my mom's house or my dad's house. I really want to have it at my grandmother's home. What would you tell them? Do you recommend that? I mean, that's a lot of people to entertain on a very important day. Would you recommend they have it at a home, a personal home?
Yes, and I've had this experience. It's very nice. It's very intimate. You just have to come in and say, okay, we need to move the furniture a little bit. I had a bride that said, okay, I want to get married in front of my grandmother's fireplace, and can we put the Christmas tree up? And we did that. It was a very, very special wedding. It really was.
Wow, it sounds nice. All right, so real quick, any big wedding disasters, things brides need to be looking after?
Yeah, one that comes to mind is one that we did over in San Marcos area in a historical mansion over there. And of course, the bride and groom, we think we've got everything lined up, and the DJ does not show. So obviously they were very upset. And so I sent my husband out. He bought a surround sound system. We found an amateur DJ to come in and do the music. He did a great job. Everyone had a great time. And the bride and groom were they had a great time.
So you make it work. Liz, give
Yes.
us your website so people can find you to plan their wedding.
Our website is aeweddingsandevents.com. And you can find us.
aeweddingsandevents.com, and the and is spelled out A-N-D.
Yes, it is.
All right, very good. And do you have a number?
Yes, it is 281-727-6800.
All right, and if you've got a real estate question, give us a call, 281-882-8088. We'll answer your real estate questions right here on the air. We'll be right back.